I have way too many games. So, I'm kind of reorganizing everything anyways. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's my entire physical game collection as of April 19th, 2025. But basically, I collect everything PlayStation. So PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I don't have any PlayStation 1 games yet because the games that I want are never in stock at the stores that I go to. So that's been a little bit of a headache. But when it comes to my collection for like PS4, it's coming along great. PS3 is coming along great. PS2, awesome. PS5, still a little light on the PS5 stuff. So in no particular order, I'm going to start out with one of my childhood favorites, the Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian game. One of the greats. One of the only good Disney licensed games from my childhood. I believe that this came out in 2008, if I remember correctly, and it actually had Traveler's Tales working on it as well. But this game, if you had any like step siblings or brothers or sisters, was fire. It was absolutely great. And then we've got another one of my favorites when I was a kid, Ben 10, Protector of the Earth. Huge Ben 10 fan as a kid. Loved Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was sick. Ben 10 is sick. And yeah, I don't know what studio made this. Cartoon Network, D3 publisher, and then Danger High Voltage Software. And I don't know when it came out. 2007 maybe? Not sure, but yeah. Yeah. Next we got another good game when I was a kid. Trying to replay it now as an adult is a headache. Peter Jackson's King Kong. One of the first games that I ever saw as a child that had the free movie ticket thing inside. Let's see if the camera focuses if I move my face. Had a free movie ticket inside the case. It also had, like, I was just super into King Kong as a kid, but it also had like the little Ubisoft certificate. I try to collect everything complete in box, but the way they did the movie ticket was pretty cool. So this one still has the movie ticket in it, which is super sick. So you were supposed to actually rip this out of the booklet and turn it in at the movie theater. It was absolutely cool to have one of these because I remember when that movie came out. I remember when people bought this and had the tickets, and it was a big deal. And I always thought everybody was like super cool for having one because people would save them. They would already like rip them out of the book, but just for memory's sake, I wanted one of the ones that was not ripped out of the book yet. That way I could just say that I have it in my collection. But yeah, the King Kong game is actually pretty good. For the time, it was amazing because it actually had like destructible environments and stuff. Obviously, the best levels when you're a kid was when you could play as the giant monkey man. That made the game super sick, but yeah, it's a game that's very near and dear to my heart. Now, in the theme of more movie games, which we've got quite a few here, Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith for PlayStation 2, one of the best Star Wars games of all time, in my opinion. This is back when I think LucasArts was at its best, and then I also got this case in a very good condition, which is very rare to do. So it actually has the actual print booklet for the game and everything, and then has all the Dark Horse Comics stuff on the back of it from back in the day, which is super duper cool, right? And then you actually have like registration forms and everything for it if you wanted to do the mailing list. And then on top of that, it came with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005. This was awesome. Anything that you could get when you were a kid, because when you weren't playing games, chances were you were reading the manuals and everything, and like looking at back when they used to like put the concept art in the booklets and everything, you would go through and look at all that stuff, just like the movie ticket, all that. You would just sit there and like drool over it because you're like, I can't play PlayStation right now because I'm grounded or whatever, but I can at least look at the games and the cases for my games. Super sick. Another favorite from my childhood, Final Fantasy XII, the OG, the first game that ever got me into Final Fantasy. I was born in 2000, so I was a bit young to understand the Final Fantasy hype when I was super young, because one of the first games that I got on PlayStation was actually Attacking the Power of Juju, Crash Bandicoot, the original, and God of War 2, because God of War 2 had come out. Because I didn't get a PlayStation 2 until I was like 6 or 7, so a lot of good games came out. Didn't have access to a whole lot of stuff, but Final Fantasy 12 is what gave me my RPG fix when we were children. I had 2 stepbrothers when I was younger. We all 3 had different saves, and I think I got the farthest in the game, and then we had borrowed it from somebody, so we had to give it back, and I hadn't beaten the game yet. And I remember walking down to his house and like begging him to let me borrow it for like 1 or 2 more days, where I was just going to stay up all night and play it and finish it. Still to this day have not finished Final Fantasy 12. I made it right to the end and couldn't get past the last boss fight. But oh my god, I could just, like, usually what I do when I boot this up, because I've got the remastered on Steam and the remastered on PlayStation, is I'll boot it up and just walk around for a little while and not actually do anything, like any of the missions or anything. I just want to, like, walk around the streets and be part of the world, because it's just super sick. Another absolute banger from when I was very, very young, Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. This is not the first Prince of Persia game that I ever owned when I was a kid. The original Prince of Persia game that I had was Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, the original one with like Farah and all that. So that game really got me into like the parkour stuff. This is way before Assassin's Creed and all that. Which, I mean, foreshadowing, really. Prince of Persia was literally the predecessor to Assassin's Creed. Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones was literally the best Prince of Persia. And then the boss fight where you had to go against the, like, really, really big dude with the mask. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go play the game. It's absolutely banger. Was one of the hardest boss fights of all time, and I hated my life when I had to beat that guy. But once I did beat him and got into more of the levels where I could play as the Dark Prince, dude, the game got so much better. It opened up so much. It was super sick. 2 more PlayStation 2 titles, and we got a couple here at the bottom. Oh man, I love both of these. This is cool. So the whole reason I'm filming this is because I'm moving all of this anyways to organize it on that shelf back there, because everything's kind of unorganized. I've been pulling from it and like taking videos and stuff. So I had to pull it all off, so I'm just going to go ahead and film this now. That way I have something to go back to see what my collection was like at this point in time. X-Men, the official game, absolutely sick. You could play as, I think, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Iceman, and I don't know if you could play as Storm in this one or not. But there were a bunch of cool levels. So this was a tie-in to the actual X-Men movie from the early 2000s. And this was like the best superhero game at the time for me, before I ever found out about some of the ones that I'm about to show you. And then right after the X-Men games, because I'm a huge Wolverine fan, as everybody here knows, you had the X-Men Origins Wolverine game. Now, when I was a child, I never had this in its original case, but I was able to actually get my hands on one at a game shop not too long ago. And then this one also has the trailer card for what was going to be Ultimate Alliance 2, and that's just super sick. Any kind of game case or anything that I can find that's like that, I'll absolutely try to grab it, and anything that actually has the manuals is a big deal to me. But yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine, probably still, other than the PS3 version of the X-Men Origins game, one of the best Wolverine games of all time. And I actually played this one recently in an emulator. I dump all my own files off of these discs. Played it myself in an emulator the other day, and it still holds up. The combat's still super duper fun. The combos and everything hold up. The levels hold up. There's still that one weird issue in that diamond mine level where you get stuck, and there's no way out of it. But I'm gonna figure that out eventually, I guess. It was hard when I was a kid, and it's gonna be hard now. Next up, we've got Ghost Rider. I bought the Greatest Hits version because this is the same one that we rented from Movie Gallery when I was a kid. This one, no matter how hard I try to find one, unless I want to pay a ridiculous amount online, does not have a manual in the case. Every single copy of this that I pick up at different game stores does not have a manual in the case. I don't know why people did not hold on to those, because it had some really cool cover art, just like, you know, the front cover art on this from the movie, but nobody ever held on to it. And honestly, I mean, if you want to be real, this doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. Well, it's got snippets from the movie in terms of like voice acting and everything, and then from the comic books, but it mainly follows the comic books, and then you get to play as like Blade after you beat the game. That was super cool. You get to play as Vengeance, all that good stuff. So it had a lot of good stuff in it. It was super, super duper neat. And then we have two more of the best Marvel games of all time, for their time, I suppose. The original Iron Man game, super sick. Lots of suits you can unlock. This one was actually done by Sega, which I was kind of surprised about because I didn't remember that. This is another one of my games that I regret to say came with a broken case. I don't, as you just heard, I don't usually buy broken cases or cases in bad condition, but this is another one of those games that for whatever reason, around where I live, because I don't order games offline, I won't do it. I like going into the game shops and like actually exchanging money for all this stuff when I come back, so I can be like, oh yeah, I bought this one in this city and this one in this city. This one, everywhere you go, it's like trashed, or they don't have it at all. So I'm thinking about getting a dummy case for this and putting a different, moving the box art over to a different case that's in a better condition. And for some reason, the few that I've seen of this physical in the original case doesn't have the little like memory card holder, which is really weird because I could have swore that it had that back when I had it when I was younger. But I could be wrong, and I don't know what year this released either, so maybe this was by the time that they had stopped doing stuff like that. Well, it's 2008. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't have it. This game was super cool, though. If you wanted to feel like you were Iron Man, that was the only experience at the time that could actually deliver that to you that I had access to. And now, last but not least, my favorite superhero game of all time that I'm actually working on a video for right now, when I'm not filming stuff like this, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Literally to this day, the best wide roster superhero game for Marvel fans. This game is literally 90% of my childhood. Everything down to the disc was cool if you were a Marvel fan. The disc art was just badass. I don't know if the autofocus is actually going to catch it or not, but the disc art was absolutely sick. The manual was absolutely sick. Just seeing the Wolverine thing on the back of it, Wolverine's my favorite, as we've already gone over a million times. Everything about this was badass. And then there's also this one page for the new, what was the new, and I watched it when I was a kid, the new Avengers movie that they did animated. Back when Marvel did a bunch of like super sick animated films. And another thing about Ultimate Alliance is that one of the only games that I've probably replayed over 100 times and never get sick of it. I never get sick of it. I take a break in between, you know, every few years, but I never get tired of replaying through that game. They knew what they were doing. And then I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 when it came out on Switch, and it just did not scratch the same itch at all. So I stick to this one and Ultimate Alliance 2. I need to get the copy of Ultimate Alliance 2 for PS2, but I once again have hit a roadblock and can't find it anywhere near me. So hopefully when the retro convention comes by later this year, where a bunch of people come and trade and buy stuff, I'll be able to pick up a copy of it. There are a few games that I do have that you'll see in this that don't have a case or anything like that. Once again, I don't prefer to buy them that way, but if I have no other choice, or if I'm just like really looking at something that everybody's starting to buy up and you can't really get anymore, I kind of just go ahead and snag it and worry about the rest later when it comes to stuff like that, because I'd rather, you know, have it and say that I have it and just know, you know, feel better about it at the end. So the next three are all Lord of the Rings. Two of them are actually the best, undisputed best Lord of the Rings game, and like beat 'em up slashing games. Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. One of the best games of all time, in my opinion, even to this day. I have not had a similar experience that plays like this game since I've played this game when I was a kid. I tried to get the case that actually had the official product of the Lord of the Rings movies on it. The little stamp seal right there, seal of approval. And then, as with all the other ones, you got the manual, and you got some really cool stuff in here. But the main thing that I like on the back is this is back when EA would do the game registry stuff, you know, before EA sucked. And then they also did the cheats and hints database, which was really cool. So that stuff was sick. And then there used to be, at this time, I actually went to a book fair at school and got a manual for this that would like tell you where all the secret stuff was in the levels and everything. It was when they used to print the actual game guides back when I was in elementary school. Super sick. Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, damaged case, not super happy about that. Also, another one of the games that I cannot find that comes with a manual. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. This basically just took everything that the Two Towers did and made it better, but I still think that the Two Towers has better levels, and I think they got a little too ambitious with how many characters you could play in Return of the King. Because it was a super good game, it played okay when you were playing by yourself, but if you play with somebody else, some of the camera angles were kind of annoying, some of the combat was kind of annoying. I'm going to do a retrospective on this one eventually through the Backlog Diaries. And we're going to see how it holds up because I haven't played it in probably about 10 years. So I'm really curious. Now, we were talking about Final Fantasy 12 earlier. This next one is right behind Final Fantasy 12 in terms of my favorite RPGs that I used to love to play. There's actually still a price sticker in here. I got to take this out. In terms of RPGs that I love to play, whatever the fuck I was just saying. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. One of the best RPG games of its time, dude. If you don't know what it is or if you've never played it, please go watch some videos on it. Please at least try to give it a shot if you have access to it, or you can go to a local game shop and play it on PS2. It plays better on PS2, trust me, I've tried it. This game was just Final Fantasy for Lord of the Rings fans, and it was once again in the era that EA was actually good and still has all the same PS2 redemption code game registry goodness that you would expect for the time. I mean, it's absolutely fucking baller, and it still plays good. It's still paced. There's some of the enemies in the combat in Lord of the Rings: The Third Age was kind of like stupid ridiculous hard, but I can't tell if it was stupid ridiculous hard because I was a kid and didn't understand like deep systems like that, or if it was stupid ridiculously hard because it was actually stupid ridiculously hard. The next games that are coming in the list, I think I should do all of these as a series since they're all on the same platform, and then they take us into another platform. So I think I'm going to do all of the Assassin's Creed games next that I have in my physical collection. And a lot of people in the comments are going to freak out because I don't have certain ones in my collection, but I will explain that away here in a moment, because a lot of this collection is just stuff that I actually had when it was out when I was younger. So stuff that I could only like go to a video game store and rent or get from the Redbox or whatever. But I have as you can see, a giant pile of Assassin's Creed games. And usually these stay in order, and I don't know why they're not now. I don't think I really looked when I took everything off the shelf. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I have it tattooed on my knuckle. It's a little blown out now because the tattoo's super old. That's irrelevant. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Got a video coming up about Assassin's Creed Shadows soon. Stay tuned for that. Assassin's Creed 1. Need I say more? It was fucking sick. And this one is special to me because I had it. I borrowed it from a friend of mine because I did not have the game. We did not have money to get the game. The game at the time was expensive. I borrowed it from a friend of mine, and as I was playing through it, I used the little strategy guide. I looked for probably 3 or 4 months to find one that had both the book still intact. Once again, I get it in most of everything used. There's no way that I was going to pay all the money for a sealed copy of this. I kind of want the experience to be the same when I was younger. A book and the strategy and art book guide. I found them. It was great. Need I say more, dude? They're fucking sick. I love stuff like this, and it's badass. And a lot of these I haven't looked at in a long time because I kind of like, I get them, put them on the shelf. Also, look at the old school PlayStation 3 font on the side of the case. It's so good. It's so good. It just brings back so many memories. Assassin's Creed 1 was banger. Super banger. And then Assassin's Creed 2 did everything that Assassin's Creed 1 did, but did it better. This is where we were all introduced to Ezio, okay? This is a monolithic 3-game absolute baller of a guy that shaped a good bit of our childhoods. So without further ado, I shouldn't have to explain these a whole lot. Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. The only one that kind of disappoints me is my Brotherhood copy. I didn't realize when I bought it, but didn't have a booklet in it because I didn't check before I left the store like an idiot, and I should have checked because I opened the Assassin's Creed 2 one, which was the first one they handed me, and then I assumed that since this one had the booklet and everything in it, the rest of them would too. But I will have to find a booklet for it somewhere because this case is actually in really good condition. It's really hard to find Assassin's Creed games in good condition when it comes to the cases and not pay a whole exorbitant amount of money for them. I got roasted on the Assassin's Creed Revelations purchase recently by a buddy of mine because this is I wanted the case that I had when I was a kid. That was the signature edition that also included Assassin's Creed 1. So the question was asked, why do you have Assassin's Creed 1 and the Assassin's Creed 1 bundle thing for Revelations? Mind your business, first of all. Second of all of this is exactly how I want it. So it doesn't bother me at all. Next, my favorite 2 Assassin's Creed games. I have 2 favorites. I love one. I love the Ezio trilogy. My 2 absolute favorites that I played to death and 100% completed. Still the only 2 Assassin's Creed games that I did 100% complete in platinum to this day. Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag. Absolutely baller. Absolutely baller. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was a weird one when I wanted to add it to my collection because I wanted the copy that came with the exclusive content for PS3 thing, and I think all of them did, but I've seen a lot of reprints of the same case for Assassin's Creed 4 that don't have it. So like stores going back and doing it, and you can tell they like marked up the Photoshop images or whatever and then tried to put it on the case, and it just doesn't work the same. And this is another one of those games that I wanted all of my stuff that came in the box whenever it came out. And Assassin's Creed 4 was really cool because it was at that transition time between PS3 and PS4. I had PS3, obviously, that's why I got the PS3 version. And I'm not going to double book copies in my collection. If I have a copy of it here, I'm not going to have a copy of it on another platform. It may seem like I'm going to break that rule a few times, but I promise you I'm not. It's more of just me. All right, let me break this down a little bit better. All these games are what I had them on originally, on the original platforms, except for franchises that I hold near and dear to my heart. I try to get every single copy and version that's been released if I can. If it's not crazy expensive or super hard to get, so hard that I just physically can't do it without going into debt or something. So, with that clarified, Assassin's Creed 4 was another one that I wanted the book, the Uplay Passport, which is a blast from the past, and a code for the PS4 digital version of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag that expired on 1/31/2014, which is crazy to think that the PS4 came out 11 years ago, but here we are. And then also, you get your 60 minutes of additional gameplay on the back of the booklet as well, which was cool. And then you get to see Aveline the Grand Prix. And Aveline, back in the day, I had a crush on that woman because she was badass, and she was an assassin, and she was one of the only female assassins that we actually got to see at the time until Rogue. I'm missing a lot of the Assassin's Creed games. I'm working on getting them into my collection because people want way too much money for them. So I'm missing a few titles. This is going to jump around a little bit. And I don't have all the remasters either, but I think I am going to work on it at some point. So Assassin's Creed 3, same deal as all the other games that are in my collection. You open it up. This one's a little different because the PS3 one came with the normal Uplay Passport that came in the box with it way back then. And then you got your 30-day free trial of PlayStation Plus that actually, I just love seeing this because it's a blast from the past. That had the PSI and the PS Move ad and everything for it, which was super cool. And then you actually get your code and everything. Some of these codes may still work, even though they say they have an expiry date. A lot of them didn't have an expiry date in actuality. So if you see any of these codes throughout this video and you actually want to use them, feel free to pause it and redeem them because I'm not going to use any of them. That's not really the point. They're kind of just here to be here, just to have my continuity. I gotta finish up Assassin's Creed before I move on. Almost made a mistake. Assassin's Creed Unity. This is kind of the era where like game manuals started to go away with PS4, unfortunately, but you still got like voucher codes for like DLC and stuff if you wanted it. And you still get like your cool, you know, your cool ads and stuff for other games that were in the Assassin's Creed franchise. And I always thought it was really weird for Assassin's Creed Rogue. It was only on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, even though Black Flag had already crossed the threshold. I know it's weird because, like, you know, the continuity with the story and everything ties into Unity really well, and they kind of needed to, like, bridge that gap real quick, but it's still very odd to me that they were advertising like, hey, buy it for the last gen platform. I know Ubisoft can do whatever they want, but at the time it just seems like Sony would have had something to say about it. This is the Assassin's Creed game that changed the formula and changed it to kind of what we know it as now. Assassin's Creed Origins. When this came out, I was so excited for it that I actually split the cost of it with my buddy, and I played it first, and then after I beat it, I gave it to him so he could play the rest of it, because we only had enough money for one copy of it. It's great. If you haven't played it, play it. It's awesome. It's set in ancient Egypt. If you love ancient Egypt and the pharaohs and everything like that, it is absolutely banger, and this is another one of my cases that sadly does not have a booklet or inside art or anything like that. Bummer, 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 bummer. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Basically the same deal. Not a lot of assassin-y stuff in this one though, unless you buy the DLC, which I'm sure most people know anyways, but for me, you know, that was a big letdown. And this one does have reversible art on the inside. Actually, I'm going to take the disc out so I can show you. I still love Assassin's Creed Odyssey to this day. There's still a lot of times where I play it on PC every now and again, where I'll just boot it up and play maybe 30, 45 minutes, but the flip art on this one was super cool. I actually debated when I bought it on flipping the art inside out, but I like having all the actual, like, you know, platforms and titles and everything facing out towards me when I'm going through stuff. These are a little bit out of order, these next games, because they don't really fit in any, like, specific category or anything, but Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Next Level Edition. I actually have not opened this one. I got it brand new. So you guys actually get a code for the free. This expires in 2027, so if you want the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Next Level Edition Dragon Lord pack, go ahead and redeem this code. I'll try to get it to focus for you. Go ahead and redeem that code, and you can have it. You can have it pro bono for free, my friends, for free. Still keeping the paper because it needs to be inside the case, but I really liked the Next Level Edition because of the shiny, like, rare Pokemon-esque cover art. It was fucking badass when I saw it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I actually got the whole Next Level Edition thing. So I got the, like, the pre-order stuff, and then also have I bought the game for the case and everything to go with it. I'm missing most of the Spider-Man games because I just haven't had time to go find them. A lot of game stores don't have them because they're so popular, but I was able to grab me a copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales. I do own all the games digitally, but I like having physical copies of everything. Spider-Man Miles Morales, great Spider-Man game. And then actually inside of this is your code to get the Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. And if you don't already have it, once again, same deal as before, feel free to use this code pro bono because I'm not going to use it. I have no need for it. I already own all this stuff digitally. So if you want to use that code for Spider-Man Remastered, feel free, put it in. You can use it. I don't care. And this one also had really good flip art on the inside of the case too that I really appreciated. I'm going to take the booklet out again just to show you. I love stuff like this. So you get Miles on one side and then the Spider-Man guy on the other. Super badass. Love it, love it, love it. Insomniac does a great job with the Spider-Man franchise. I'm super glad that they picked it up, and I'm super excited for the Wolverine game that's supposed to be coming out by them because that's going to be awesome. These next few are going to be more PlayStation 3 games. And I'm actually going to separate some of these out because I want to go through this whole series as its own thing. Okay, so this next one we're actually going to do as a full series, as a full set, because that's how I have them organized in my little pile. And I'm actually going to do that for this as well, real quick, because it helps me stay organized. Ba-da-bum. Okay. Now. All right, so these next batch that we're gonna do, we're actually gonna keep it as a full set because it helps me stay organized. So let me set these down right here. All right, so my favorite series of all time is and will forever be God of War. So I own every God of War game except for the spin-offs that they did in like Flash and stuff like that. Basically the stuff that you can't own. And I don't own all of them on their original system because I don't have access to a PSP or anything. I'm looking at getting one to add to my PlayStation collection, but I'll cover that in all of my PlayStation hardware videos. Right now this is just game collection. God of War 2, why are these out of order? What the what? Okay, whatever, they are out of order. God of War 1, same deal as all my other games for PlayStation 2, one of the greatest hits because that's the case that I had when I was a kid. And I got the booklet. It is super sick, dude. It is super sick. This was towards the end of the life cycle when they were printing God of War 1, but I love this as well. This is super sick. It's just history. I love having the manuals for my games because it's all just, to me, it's all documenting history and stuff that kids will probably not be able to experience unless, you know, people preserve it. So it's super sick. Next up, God of War 2, the 2-disc version of it, because that's the one that I had. That's going to be the reason for literally all of these. So in this one, you actually got God of War 2, the game, and then you actually had a documentary of like how they made it and everything and the design behind it. This, when I was a child, made me become a very big fan of like concept art and sound design and level design and stuff like that. And I got really into like doing like a development stuff in school because of it. And I got really into writing because of it, because like seeing like Cory Barlog in the documentary and everything really hyped me up when I was a child. This game really had an impact on me. Having that documentary on it too really had an impact on me. Yeah, and same deal. Make sure you got the PlayStation Insider stuff and you got your manual in the case. Super sick, super sick. I've had a couple people ask me if I'd actually sell this one, and I never will, because this is probably actually the exact like case that I had when I was a kid, because I went and got it from the same person that I traded it into in a very small town. Never get rid of it. Next in line is God of War Ascension for PS3. Arguably, probably the worst God of War game according to a ton of people. I don't know if I share that sentiment. I really like the whole series. I think they did a good job with the continuity of the whole series, but a lot of people really do not like Ascension, usually because of the multiplayer stuff. I don't really blame them, honestly. And then you have like the online pass thing too with it, which wasn't really cool. Like that goes into the multiplayer, but a lot of people did not enjoy Ascension because of that. I remember when Ascension came out, and it was absolutely badass because of the trailers and everything they did for it. My favorite to this day is still God of War 3, because when I grew up, I saw God of War 3 after playing 2, and I was like, oh my god, this is like, the graphics and everything were jaw-dropping, and like just getting to see Kratos do what Kratos does in that game is absolutely baller. And once again, still have the promotional material in the case for this and PlayStation All-Stars. And then here's another code in here for you if you want the code. Let me focus that up. If you can see it, type it in. If it's still valid, let me know, actually, because I'm curious to see how many of these actually still work to this day, because there's probably a pretty good chance that a lot of them do. Next one in me collection is the God of War Origins collection. So this is where they put the PSP games on a disc. So this has Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, if I remember correctly. I'm not looking at the front. Yeah, Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta. Two very good games. I'm actually working on the platinum for both of these right now, and these are going to go into the backlog diaries. So stay tuned for a video on that. It's going to be super sick. And once again, as always, you get this. Now, I looked forever for promotional material that wasn't just on the internet to find stuff for the PlayStation 3D display, because it's something that I thought I made up in my head, but I was like quite certain that I'd seen it when I was younger. And on the back of this manual, no less, it advertises the PlayStation 3D display. Everybody thought I was crazy when I was bringing this up. I was like, do you guys remember that? And no, none of my buddies that are like super into PlayStation stuff remembered what I was talking about. But I was fucking right, boys. I was absolutely correct. This stack is getting a little like scary now. It's like getting to where it's above my head. Next up, another God of War collection that they released for PS3. Got the greatest hits box because you know what it is. Ba -ba -da -ba. As always, this had God of War 1 and 2 on it, remastered for the PlayStation 3. They still play very, very well. And then the cover art for the manual for the God of War collection is the art from God of War 2. And it's just a really cool manual because it shows you all the things. All the things. But the reason that it's really cool is because of the promotional material. PlayStation used to have the best promotional material back in the day. It was so good, dude. It just... Man, I loved the artists that they had working on this stuff. Like, they had the best artists when it came to doing like cover art and like still frames and stuff for their games. And they still do a really good job with like The Last of Us and everything else. But that era of like God of War and PS2, PS3 transition, absolutely baller. God of War 3, of course. We got to have some God of War 3. This disc is actually not in the case because it's in my PlayStation 3 below the camera right now. I was playing it on the original platform. Still has the really cool, it's slightly discolored now because people have handled it so much, but the God of War 3 art from the manual, which was super cool. And then in the back of this manual, what does it advertise? Oh man, it advertises a bunch of stuff. Hold on. This is sick. I actually haven't looked at this one. So you get the red DualShock 3 advertisement, in case you wanted a red DualShock 3, if you wanted to feel the wrath of Kratos, as it says. Some more promotional material for some other God of War stuff. Look at that. And then you get this badass advertisement for the collection and everything else. Awesome. I absolutely love that. And then some Heavy Rain and Gran Turismo action, which is cool. I remember when Heavy Rain came out. I've still never played it. I've seen a lot of gameplay on it. But I remember how popular it was at the time, at least in my friend group, and everybody was like losing their mind over it. I never really got into it like that, but you know, that's just me. Everybody's different. I didn't really like games like that at the time. Not until like Detroit Become Human came out. That's when I really got into like the thriller stuff. God of War 3 remastered for PS4 because God of War game had it at one point, had to have it physical copy. Disc in the missing promo stuff, gone, mad, angry, missing the disc because it's in one of my PlayStation 5s. So I don't know which one though, so I need to kind of figure that out. Next up in the series, God of War 2018. Some of the coolest flip art in a case ever. No inside booklet or anything like that with this one, but the flip art was awesome. And if I didn't like seeing the titles of the games on the outside, I would definitely flip it out and use the flip art for it. But I absolutely love games that have flip art. It's just that easy dopamine hit, like extra, like, oh, they really paid attention when they made the case for this game. They knew what the whole like purchasing experience was going to feel like. Two more in the God of War series. I've got me God of War Ragnarok. I got the launch edition. I actually bought this game. I got the collector's edition of this game, which that's going to be a separate video for all my like physical collector stuff. I got the collector's edition of this game. Got a copy of it with one of the PS5s that I bought, and then also had another copy of it gifted to me digitally, which I gave away on Reddit. And I may post my Reddit at some point so people can stay tuned for stuff like that, because that actually happens pretty often. There is promo material in this. The disc is not in here because it's in this other thing that I'm going to show you. But God of War Ragnarok flip art, absolutely sick. And then promotional material for God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. And then The Last of Us Part 1 was the other promotional material for this one, which is super cool. And once again, as with everything, if this code hasn't already been used, feel free to use it. I have no need for it. You can have it. You're welcome. And getting to the end here. So the disc isn't in this case, but the disc is in this steelbook for God of War Ragnarok that came with the collector's edition. This is the only steelbook I own, and I do want to change that with certain games, but I've got to hunt them down. Oh, and I lied, actually. The fucking disc isn't in this either. It's in one of my Alright, so one of the PlayStations has God of War 3 in it, and then the other one has God of War Ragnarok in it, and I don't know fucking which is which. So I'm missing discs at the moment. But anyways, Steelbook is a Steelbook. It's absolutely awesome. I love Steelbooks like this. I wish I would have paid more attention to them when I was young, because I always thought they were like, oh, they don't look the same as regular game cases or whatever, and I can't read them as easy. But if I had known how expensive some of the steelbooks for some of the games that I've played were going to get, I would have gotten every steelbook I could get my hands on for cheap back when they were cheap. Now they are not cheap, and it aggravates the hell out of me. The next series, which I am going to start working on soon, videos for the Backlog Diaries, one of my favorites of all time, once again, The Last of Us. PlayStation 3. Original copy. Actually just picked this up 3 days ago, because I finally found one in good condition that still had the Naughty Dog stickers on the inside of the case, and the Last of Us Online Pass inside the case, still intact. And once again, it says it expires in 2016, but if for some reason you need a code, go for it. But yeah, this was a mythic pull at the time, actually, because it's like, usually the box art is damaged in some way, shape, or form with this game for whatever reason. So you actually get Joel and Ellie's faces in the case, unharmed. Super cool. And I thought this game looked good when it came out. I haven't played the remastered yet, but I really, 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 really want to. The first time I played The Last of Us, I think I already kind of started explaining this, was when it came out, we rented it from a Redbox, and we had to return it the next day. So I stayed up the entire night and played the game from start to finish in one night. Well, one afternoon, one night, and one morning. That way I could finish the game before we had to take it back to the Redbox. Because it was just so good, and I knew we couldn't afford it, and I wasn't going to be able to finish it otherwise. So, because I never knew when I was going to see it again. Another game I've had a hard time finding, The Last of Us Part 1 Remastered. When I went to the GameStop employee and gave them the case that was on the shelf for this, they kind of like hesitated. They're like, oh, I don't know if we have one. No GameStop has had one for whatever reason close to me at all, and I was like 2 hours away for work. And I got the last sealed copy that they had for this, so I was super stoked. No promo material on the inside, just flip art. But you know, I'm a fan of the old flip art, so it's just a straight up Last of Us Part 1 follow through flip art without any of the fancy stuff on it. It's just basically reversed, which is still cool for me. But yep, got that. Got the disc. Super happy about, and I actually like the disc on The Last of Us Part 1 remake versus the original. But just to show you like kind of how far things have come. I know they did a remaster on PS4 too. I didn't want the remastered on PS4 because I never owned it to begin with, and I feel like the Part 1 remake is just such a big jump. But look at the difference between those two discs. I mean, the whole aesthetic has kind of changed, but I still think Ellie and Joel looked so good back when the original game came out that like you can't really top that feasibly. I mean, the remake is supposed to be really good. I haven't played it yet. I'm willfully and purposely ignorant on everything that happens in it. Finally found, the same day that I got Part 1, actually, I had to go to 2 different GameStops. I found The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Also, GameStop, fix your fucking website, because it says you have things in stock, then you show up there, the employees act like they hate everyone, and then you go to buy a game, and they act like, I mean, they probably do hate their lives. You're working at GameStop. I wouldn't enjoy working at GameStop, but like, fix your website to show what you have in stock, and tell your employees to not get mad at people when they ask if it's in stock, because they're like, did you look on the website? Well, your website sucks, and it's wrong half the time anyways, so you have to ask. Anyways, besides the point, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Have started playing this, decided I'm going to pause because I'm working on some other videos. So I'm going to play The Last of Us Part 1 again first, and then go into The Last of Us Part 2. And it's not because I don't remember what happened, it's because I kind of want to vibe through and do a little review on all of it. So, yeah, got some really good flip art on the inside of Part 2 Remastered as well, and it's basically the same thing as the original one, just follow through art with a health warning at the bottom of it. I hope I tapped on the right side. I did not, with a health warning on the bottom of it. But still super cool. And I like the disc art on this one too. It's basically just the same like city view that they used in the other ones, but just for this. I love it, I love it, I love it. I like aesthetic stuff. All right, what's left? Let's see here. This is such a huge pile already that I'm like kind of scared to add on to it. These are all more recent acquisitions. Once again, from my GameStop hopping. I loved Ratchet and Clank when I was a kid on PlayStation 2. I don't have any copies of it for PS2, and every time I try to find one, they're like in really terrible shape. So when I find a good copy of it, I'll get a good copy of it. But I haven't played this yet. I know it was like a showcase for PlayStation for the longest time, but I liked Ratchet and Clank as a kid, so I picked up a copy of Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. I'm gonna play through it very, very soon. Open it up, everything. It's got flip art on the inside. All the first-party games seem to. I have high hopes for this because Insomniac is Insomniac, and they're just a great studio. So I really hope that the game is. It's gonna fall over. The tower is gonna fall over here. Okay, look. This is getting ridiculous. As if this video wasn't long enough already. It might also include me having to clean up the leaning tower of video games. Actually picked this one up today because I finally found it. I love Space Marine 2, Warhammer Space Marine 2. I love Warhammer in general. I never played the original game because I wasn't into Warhammer when I was younger, but my stepbrother had the original game and he would never let me play it. So the joke's on you, douche. I now have it with the, as all of the other ones, manual and everything else, and I'm going to set aside some time on a Sunday to actually sit down and play the original Space Marine game because I love orcs and I just want to fight some orcs because there's no orcs in Space Marine 2. What's up with that? But this game is supposed to have been extremely good. In watching someone else play it when I was a kid, it was extremely good. I was so excited to play it, and then every time I asked, I was told no. So that's basically how that went. I didn't get to partake in any of the fun on that one, which sucks, but it is what it is. Next up, another one that I got yesterday, Civil War History Channel game. Not like a banger game or anything. It's just one of those that, like, when I think of PlayStation 2 and like what I played on PlayStation 2, this is one of the first games that comes to mind because I would like beg everybody to let me. At the time, they didn't want me playing violent games because I was too young for them, even though a lot of my games were violent anyways, and they just didn't know. So I told them that this was a educational experience and that I had to actually play it for school for a thing I was writing, and it worked perfectly because they let me play Civil War: A Nation Divided, and at the time it was the only game I was allowed to play. And this is back when Activision was cool too, so you got all the like hunting stuff, and then also this was in a time where you could send in mail cards and stuff to get it's just, oh man, I just had the nostalgia pit. But super good game, still holds up too when you, if you want to pump it in an emulator or something. Doesn't play great on the actual native PlayStation 2 for some reason, I've found. I don't know what it is. It's not this copy because I've tried another copy too. It just doesn't, I think it didn't run great already, and now it just super doesn't run great because, I don't know, maybe disc age or something, disc rot. I have no idea, but it just doesn't. It plays way better in an emulator, so if you do want to experience it, do that. This is a game that I always wanted, up next, sorry, that I always wanted, but I never got, even though I had the PlayStation Move when I was a kid. It was, everybody tells me this game sucks. It probably fucking sucks. It doesn't matter. I'm realistically, I don't want to say that, actually. If you can play this with a regular controller, I might have to play it for something else, but realistically, probably will never play it. Aragorn's Quest for PlayStation 3. I saw it in every GameStop I went into and in the local game store. I wanted a copy so bad because I was obsessed with Lord of the Rings and the older Lord of the Rings games, and I could just never get a copy because it was always super expensive at the time. But joke's on them because I found the one with the voucher for the Blu-ray collection for Lord of the Rings and everything, as well as the game manual, just like the rest of them. Super duper happy when I bought this. And in the theme of like super obscure Lord of the Rings games that I can never get my hands on, my favorite Lord of the Rings game that EA ever did that was kind of like the Battlefront formula was Lord of the Rings Conquest. I looked everywhere for probably about 9 months to find a copy of the game and could never find one. And then finally, found one at a shop here in Georgia called Steel Collectibles that had it for a decent price. I paid 22 bucks for it. You can see it back there, which is a little high now, but they go up and down with Le Manual and everything else. And anybody that you talk to that had played this game probably has fond memories of it, because Lord of the Rings Conquest was the shit, dude. It was super sick. If you were just a Lord of the Rings fan and you wanted to play as, back when games were simpler, of course, now it doesn't really hold up as much, but you just wanted to play some like Battlefront style combat or whatever, and in the Lord of the Rings setting, dude, Lord of the Rings Conquest was the best thing for it. There was not another game that did that back then. Another one that I was super excited to find that I have a hard time finding here for whatever reason, Dante's Inferno, PlayStation 3 Divine Edition. Very, very happy with this one because everyone that I find in stores is always torn up to shit. And once again, I'm a booklet baby, so I like everything that comes in the case to be in the case when I buy it, and I need to learn how to flip things. Everything is in there. Bam. All the promo material, all the codes if you want some codes. Whatever you can read there, you can have, per usual, because I'm not going to use it. And a lot of the discs for Dante's Inferno I could find for Xbox, but for PlayStation 3 they were always trashed, like I was telling you before. This one's perfect. Absolutely perfect. The only thing wrong with it is the case is a little beat up, but I can live with that. It's not cracked, bent, broke, or anything like that. It's just slightly discolored with age and yellowed. I'm over the moon with it. I looked for Dante's Inferno for a very long time because people on the internet are dumb. And a lot of these that I say that I can't find on the interwebs, I'm not gonna pay an extra $25 for shipping on something if I know I can go to a game store and support a local business for less money for me, and also, you know, help them out at the same time. So it's kind of like a win-win. Like I explained earlier, I like the physical, like, you know, handing over of the money to get things. So that's a big part of it too. But I know a lot of this stuff, it's probably going to be in the comments. I could find it on eBay or something like that, but it's all part of the experience. It's not, it kind of detracts from the experience if I, you know, have to like haggle somebody down on like eBay or Facebook or some shit. I don't like doing it. I like just, you know, going there physically. So if I do complain about not being able to find things, which I've done a lot throughout filming this, that's the reasoning behind it. I mean, it is what it is. One of my favorite games of all time, I have hundreds if not thousands of hours in it. Skyrim, old Skyrim Legendary Edition for PlayStation 3. I played Skyrim for the first time on PlayStation 3 from a recommendation from my buddy Matthew. Matthew, thank you. I love you. You created an unhealthy obsession that has lasted into adulthood, and then the Oblivion remake is coming out next week, actually. Actually, it may have already come out by the time this video comes out. So now I'm going to have to manage my Oblivion and Skyrim addiction, which is not going to be fun for me. Same deal as before. All the good stuff. All the good stuff. I'm a little pissed about this one because look at what they did to me. Look at what they did to your boy. I asked them what condition it was in. They said very good. GameStop being GameStop, they lied to me. The manual was bent and creased and trashed. I was not happy, but it was there and it was cheap. And I was like, okay, I don't want to overpay for this. Skyrim also had some very underrated flip art in its case too. Like it had the Dragon Wall shrine in it. I feel like everybody ignored that, especially on the Xbox 360 cases. I didn't really, when I was a kid and everybody had Xbox 360, I didn't really see people appreciating cover art at all. They had no class. They had no class. Call of Duty was always better on Xbox back in the day anyways. And then this one, very, very, very happy about. We're getting to the end of the list here. The Prince of Persia trilogy that has all three of the Prince of Persias that I played when I was super young originally, remastered for PlayStation 3. Found it for 40 bucks at Steel Collectibles. Little bit of a high price, not gonna lie, but for the condition that it's in, I was willing to pay every penny because it still had the manual and everything else. And I really wanted the one that I had when it came out when we were younger that had the Splinter Cell promotional material on the back of it, and it had the actual like the rough paper booklet. I'm weird about stuff like that. So yeah, I was really happy because I remember when the remastered trilogy dropped on the PlayStation Store, and then saw it in physical for the first time. And you know, games were this. I don't remember what the release price on this was, but anything over like $10, $20, because you only really got games every like 6 months or so. Anyways, actually that's a lie. You only really got games every maybe once or twice a year when I was a kid, which would be every 6 months, like I was saying. I'm an idiot. Couldn't afford this one back then. Really wanted it. Already played all 3 of the games on PlayStation 2 by then, but really wanted it. It was just never able to. Now this is my little secret stash box. This is my little secret stash box where I keep games that do not have cases, cover art, or anything of the like. I'm going to get cases for them. I'm going to make cover art for them. It's not gonna, if I do end up selling them, which I'll probably never sell any of this, I will tell the whoever it goes to that it is not the OG stuff. So probably my most valuable per pound game in my collection that I love a lot, and I think everybody has a lot of love in their hearts for, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Just a disc, no book, no case, really hard to find, really expensive if you do find it. Not really interested, at the time, I wasn't really interested in doing the whole like case art book thing. Now I've gotten into it, the larger that my collection has got, I want it to be as one-to-one as possible. So at the time, I got a really good price on this disc. Paid a little over 100, but not far over 100. Still worth over 100 right now. I just checked prices this morning. Still worth well over 100. Did really well on it. I'm gonna try to get a case for it and everything. If you never played Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Sparking Zero exists now. Probably the only thing that dethrones Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is Sparking Zero, but for the time, this was the best Dragon Ball game of all time. And then the other one in my secret stash, Attacking the Power of Juju. Not really valuable at all whatsoever. Trash game, can't find a case for it. Nothing really special there. It's special to me because it's one of the first games that I ever played. And then along with that theme, there's actually a scratch on this that I've never noticed until now. Dragon Ball Z Sagas. The disc itself is not worth a lot right now. Hold on, let me see. Because it is loose. The disc itself fluctuates in price so much for Sagas. I don't know why, because it wasn't a great game. It holds a special place in my heart, but it was not a great game. It's still kind of glitchy if you try to play it on the original platform. Let me see here. What is it worth now? Out of pure curiosity. Okay, so loose, it's worth about 15 bucks right now. At the time, I paid about 30 for it, and everybody was selling it for 35. So I came out a little bit cheaper. But according to CLZ Games, it's worth about 15, 22 loose right now. And Budokai Tenkaichi 3, since we were talking about it, it has dropped from $160 to $101.44. So, but that's the nature of collecting stuff. It's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna fluctuate everywhere. Hopefully, this covers all of my physical collections by the time this comes out. A bunch of people have asked me about it. A bunch of people wanted to see what I got. This is everything that I have so far. I only started this maybe about 4 months ago or so. So basically, it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep growing. I gotta figure out storage and everything like that for all of this stuff. But I'm looking to do an update video at least twice a year. So this will be the first one for this year, the collection start. And I'm wanting to do that for all of my various collections, which spans consoles, physical collectibles, collector's edition, stuff like that, and my disc collection. So yeah, if you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. It's super sick to actually be able to sit down and like kind of share all this stuff with you guys. And yeah, hopefully you'll be able to hold out until the next update. I should have some pretty cool stuff by then. But I think right now I'm sitting at a pretty good spot, and it makes me very happy that I'm, you know, blessed enough to be able to get my hands on this stuff and enjoy it like I do, because a lot of people don't have that luxury. But yeah, like this if you like it, don't if you don't, tell a friend anyways. As always, I love you. Goodbye.